don't need to ask me that though.
See how the Nigerians start shucking and jiving, right, guys? He was doing so
Shocking and
good
jiving.
until it came time to talk about the blood on his ancestors' hands. He's a Nigerian, y'all. For all we know, he's most likely the descendant of fucking slave traders. If he wasn't, then he would have been born and raised in South America somewhere, or in Jamaica, or in the Caribbean, where the slaves went mostly. But since he was born and raised in Nigeria, you know, chances are he descends from fucking slave drivers, which is why
Where,
he can't acknowledge that there's some
where,
fucking slave
where
drivers.
exactly are
Riddle
you
me that.
getting at? Like now, I'm completely clueless. What's your point?
I know. So slave driver doesn't understand my point.
We're supposed to be bridging the divide between blacks and
And how
Africans,
can we
black
bridge
and
the divide if
diaspora.
you won't even acknowledge the blood on your ancestors' hands? You're really
On
trying
my
to
own
make
ancestors'
excuses and
ends.
deflecting and talking about, well, they kind of did a little bit of slaves, but the Europeans this and the Europeans that. How can we bridge the divide and connect the diaspora if you won't even acknowledge historical facts?
Do you want an apology letter from the kings back then that sold other people, other tribes to
I know
the
you're being
U.S.?
sarcastic, but what's
I gotta
funny
take
is that
money
you
and
bush
land, bro.
babies are such backward savages. It's so beneath you to even apologize. You would never apologize. Why would we ever
Me,
even ask an
me,
apology
me. I
of
should
an African who's
apologize.
so backwards and unintelligent? No, come on. You
Oh, an
you would never
African
say,
so
"Hey, on
backwards.
behalf of my ancestors, it was fucked up that we were slave
Can
drivers."
someone
You
else
would never
speak?
say that. So why
Can
would we
someone else?
ask for that from
I'm
y'all?
tired of hearing you ramble. Like, can someone else? We got like two other
I know
people
you're
not
tired, but
talking.
when I go on mute, you don't have shit to say. When I say, okay, I'm gonna go on
Because I'm
mute,
not
say
trying to
something,
say
you say,
anything.
oh, does anyone have a question? Does anyone have a question? But when I ask you a question, you can't answer straight
I think
forth.
you should be a stand-up comedian, man. You're very funny.
And I think maybe you Nigerians should stay in your own fucking country and fix your country. I think instead of your daddy fleeing to come be a doctor in America, he should have stayed and been a doctor in Nigeria. I think you Nigerians need more doctors in Nigeria than us
That's
Americans
fair.
need Nigerian
That's fair.
doctors over
That's
here.
fair.
That's what I think. Maybe your
That's
family
fair.
shouldn't have fled. They should have stayed and boosted the nation. And maybe if your family helped out, Nigeria wouldn't have the largest homeless population in the world. Guys, you may not know that. Nigeria currently has the largest homeless population in the world, over 24 million homeless people, which is why this man is over here in our country and not his.
And do you know what? Do you know what? I'm gonna relocate back to Nigeria. Now that you said that, I'm gonna relocate back. I think I should.
I highly doubt it. You don't want to live in Nigeria. You don't want to live anywhere in Africa. You got what, 50 something countries in Africa? You don't want to live anywhere in Africa, let alone Nigeria. Your daddy had so many other African countries to go to, but your mama and daddy said, we want to go to America. Not Sierra Leone, not Sudan, not South Africa, not Morocco, not many of the other African countries. No, you want to come over to my country to make some money, huh?
Well, yes, I've made money, and I'm gonna pack my bags. I'm gonna start going.
That was such a funny joke. I forgot to laugh.
It wasn't. It wasn't meant for you to laugh, bro.
Let me see what my audience has to say about this. Deshaun says, man, this is how they will be if they go to church to know the truth. They're going back and forth with the preacher. Andre says, Andre says, read Daughters of the Trade. It's a book that talks about how Africans were the real problems in the slave trade. Damn, I have such an educated audience. Shout out to Andre. He's citing sources. The book is called Daughters of the Trade. The Unk says at 17 years old, he was already grown. Don't get me twisted. The USA is Hell's Kingdom on earth. Nigerians are the most hated people on the continent of Africa. Nigerians thrive here because the two have a lot that's similar. Andre says every society had slaves. Why do they always try to deny this? I don't know. I think they try to deny it because they're responsible, because they don't want to acknowledge their guilt, their wrongdoing. They have cognitive dissonance. They'll excuse it. They'll rationalize it. The Europeans made us do it. They influenced us. I mean, It's not our fault we sold slaves. Come on, public enemy number one. Anna says they want to share the black experience 400 years later, but not the slave trader experience, as if the history is that color coded. They come to collect wealth, just like 400 years ago. Think about that, guys. Think about it. He literally descends from slave drivers that sold some of our ancestors, which is how some of us got over here. And then our ancestors build up this country to a global superpower. And now the slave trader flees his shithole country because they had all that money. They could have built Wakanda, but like a crackhead, dope fiend uncle of sorts, they smoked up all the money. And now they want to come over here to a country that we built the foundation of. This is a crazy, paradoxical situation, guys. Crazy. Unc says, shout out to all the transatlantic descendants. Facts. Stogie says Africans don't want to admit all the genocide neither. Facts. Andre says, I thought he said he was in the US, or is that the other guy? No, he's in the US right now. Unc says they did not force them. It was a slave trade, which means Europeans were trading with someone. Yeah, come on. Well, let's see if he has anything else to say before I close out. Yeah, no, Cat's got his tongue, guys. He's short-circuiting. His neurons aren't firing. God damn it, he was doing so well, guys. This was an hour-long conversation, and he was doing so well for like 45 minutes of it. And then when we got to his ancestors' role in the transatlantic slave trade, oh boy, did it take a turn for the worse. Come on, come on.
Dang. Come on, bro. Like that. Where the Africans at?